Hello everybody, welcome back as ever to Building Blocks, where we program Minecraft mods live on camera. And tonight is going to be fairly chill. We're going to be doing mostly texturing, maybe a little bit of item modeling if we get to that point, but we'll see. But first, the things I have been doing this week. So, yeah, definitely went to class. So, here I am atop the Mount spell. This is very much a utility spell, just creates a top tier horse that can't carry anything, but is very fast and can jump real high and such, and it lasts for 40 hours, so pretty convenient. But previously, it was just a mount. Now you can actually tell it to do stuff. So, the marking system that we previously used for giving orders and commands to companion mobs and such was very simple. It was either an entity or it was a block position. That was it. That was all that you could tell them. I have now revised it so that it is significantly more powerful, whilst still being pretty like easy to use. So previously, we would hit the X key by default. Oh, Icor, thank you very much for that sub. Previously, we'd hit the X key and it would tell them, it would mark the entity or the position that we're looking at. Now, if we hold the X key, we can in fact use the scroll wheel to go through and select whatever command that we want. And of course, not every companion can take every single marking. They don't really do very much in that case, but in the case of the mount, it'll do pretty much the go-to. It'll do follow as well. So if I tell it to follow me, and I move far enough away, up he comes. Now this is handy, because it means you can cast this spell multiple times, and you could just like outfit your entire party and then tell all of the other horses and such to follow you, and then you can just ride your party over to like the area whilst they're like filling in their inventory or some such. Or maybe they just went to go and get some coffee or some such. But yeah, that's very helpful. And I'll keep doing that until I tell it to do something else. Then it will stop. But yeah, I can tell it to like follow a person, I can tell it to follow another mob, I can tell it to move to a location. Like if you set it to like, you can set it to move towards you. Moving towards you is distinct from following you because it just sets like a destination of your position, essentially. Advanced llama chains, yeah, basically. Like if you want to reenact like Riders of Rohan, you totally can. It would be messy as all hell, but you absolutely could do that. Let's tell you to go there, shall we? Yeah, this also means that the actual marking system is a lot faster now because it's based upon when you release the marking key. So, I'm holding X, I've marked that location, I can like look around, do whatever, and then let go. And off it goes. Pretty handy, pretty handy. But yeah, so that's just like the real quick thing. If I aim at the cow, we can tell it attack, stop attacking, move towards, follow, guard, or just cancel the marking entirely, which is also, if you scroll down when you hit X, then it'll do that as well. But I've tried to keep it that the ones you're most likely thinking of are the ones that are earliest in the list. So, attacking an entity is the first thing, moving to a position is the first thing, that sort of thing. And cancel is always the last one, so it's the first thing you scroll back to. Obviously, if you have no, like, if you have no companions around, then they don't do anything. We still have the capacity to, like, select which creatures next get marked, that sort of thing. So if you only want to if you want to tell a specific selection of mobs to go over to a position, that's still really easy. There's a couple of changes as well. If there is no targets, if you're not looking at a position or an entity, so I'm just aiming into the sky here, you can tell them to stop attacking in general. You can in fact tell your creatures to like stop attacking a specific mob, but if you just want to stop attacking in general, you can do that. You can say move towards me, you can say follow me, guard me. Mostly it's the entity kind of like targeting options there. There's only a couple of things you can't tell them to do when you are your own target, essentially. But yeah, so that's the main change I've done recently. Your service has been invaluable. So let me just blump. Horse be gone. Okay. So, what we are doing today... not there. There. What we're doing today is we are texturing. We are taking our brand new model of a untyped changeling. There's a bunch of changelings back here that are typed, which is to say that they look like something that already exists. This is the untyped one. These are the kind of like ones that you'll encounter potentially inside of like the Witch's Woods, inside of the Feywild and whatnot, as well as at the core of most changeling hives. And we got some basic textures in last stream when we finished the model. We're planning there to be a mask, like a sort of masquerade ball kind of mask with a horn coming out of it. But, yeah, I'm gonna say right now it looks garbo. It looks really bad. It looks really a lot more terrible, terrible leprechaun than it does, actually, like, what we're looking for. But, that's fine, because we've got all the time in the world to fix it tonight. Now, one of the great things about doing texture work instead of code work is that texture work can be updated live. You just refresh your assets and then you hit F3 and T inside of the game and you get it. But here is our current texture. And what we're going for here mostly is a sort of nature-esque kind of, like, well-to-do man-about-town kind of look. And I do want there to be multiple textures for this. I don't want it to just be like every single one of them looks like this exact same person. That sort of thing. But we'll see how long it takes me to get to that part. So let me see if I can find any of the references. Let's see, it was the gentleman from Strange and Normal. There you are. Yeah, so there is a character known as the Thistledown Man, or the Thistledown-haired, the man with the thistledown hair. That's the exact phrase. Who is really well played in this miniseries called Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, and looks utterly gorgeous, like aesthetically, like just so good, so good. Like this outfit in particular, I love. It's gorgeous. Like, this is very much what we're kind of going for. Like, if you haven't seen this series, you'll probably have to get it on DVD, because I don't think it's available to watch anywhere at this point. But it is so good. So good. Especially for, like, the kind of stuff we're doing here with the Fae and such. But, yeah, so basically, long story short, he is a Fae, probably an Archfey, lord of his own area, whose name escapes me. But like, yeah, he's ostensibly really powerful, and he's definitely a Fae, and he's looking to, like, claim power over, like, the multiple realm again. And I love this aesthetic, it's so good. But yeah, so we've got very saturated greens, and I think that's part of what's making this look weird right now. So let's just bring this back down to bases. Like, I think that is way too saturated, but that should probably just be gold. And let's definitely get rid of that. Like, bright purple doesn't really suit. Can I get like an auburn tone, maybe? Not quite skin tone. Maybe we just go fully grey and white. Just make it look like ruffles or something. Ruffles would work for this, I think. But also, when you're doing ruffles, you don't like when you're doing white cloth on a texture, you don't want to go straight white. For whatever reason it is, most times when we think of bright white, it's not actually bright white, it's like a silver at best. That looks good, I think. do have a... Yeah, we do have that layer, good. That'll come in handy momentarily. So let's... just add that there. That should hopefully give us some impression of Ruffles. I'm also not entirely sold on this dark hair here. I don't think it really works well. I know, when there's probably a very problematic reason, now that I'm thinking about it, that we tend to not associate elves with dark colored hair. We tend to associate them with like blondes and such, and like long flowing blonde hair, blue eyes, pale skin. Yeah, that's probably a very bad reason that we associate elves like that. But yeah, let's not get too deep into that. But let's see if I've managed to create some riffles here. So, overwrites. F5, that's out. F3 and T. Oh yes, I got a comment recently on, I think one of my, might have been one of the like actual thoughts of this series, which is that a lot of the mobs don't seem to have sounds. That's not a bug. I know it's virtually indistinguishable from one, but a lot, like the majority of oddities don't have custom sounds. They just like make Vex sounds at best. Okay, well you're already looking better for not having the for not having the purple. Okay, so yeah, by putting some white on the like outerwear layer, it gives us that little bit of parallax, which makes it look more like Ruffles. It's good. Needs more texture, but that's what we're here to do. So you're already looking better, sir. I'm saying sir and he and whatnot, but despite this relatively masculine skin, changelings don't have much concept of gender. I think I mentioned, I thought a while ago, I think on like the Discord somewhere, that Fae attempting to like blend in with mortals and such would absolutely like believe the whole like the whole like gendered stereotypes thing, like, oh, who wears the pants in your household, or which one of you is the big spoon, that kind of thing. It's like the Fae would take that deathly seriously, because it would be like utterly hilarious watching them try to contort and be like them trying to like emulate mortals and fit in and whatnot, and getting it completely wrong because they don't realize necessarily that these are meant to be the same person in all of these cases. They don't understand the euphemism. I was like, oh jeez, I want to actually like dig that up now. Hang on. Billabit. This is gonna bug me now, but I really want to dig this up. If I can't find it very quickly, then. There we go. Okay, managed to find it. It's in modding. Yeah. Two Fae pretending to be mortals are probably the living embodiment of the which of you wears the trousers joke, except they have genuinely no idea how to decide. It seems like the one that wears the floral dress is the one with the largest chest protrusions? That doesn't seem right, though. The ones that move heavy things on the beach all have far larger chest protrusions than their accomplices. Flip for it, then? Neighbor Julie asked me which of us pays the bills. What are bills? I think they're the little pieces of paper that come with Postman Mark that the mortals cry on. Ooh, what a curious ritual. I volunteer to pay the bills, then. It's like, yeah, that's how Fae would treat gender. Like, you might as well ponder what an ancient eldritch god would like think its gender is. It's like, my pronouns are whatever that guy was screaming at last week. It's like that'd be basically it. Okay, so we've got the ruffles. Those look nice. What are we doing with this? Do we go brighter? Do we go paler? Do we go more saturation, less saturation? I think we mostly just try to get rid of the olive. I think the olive tone is really messing with it, for the most part. Like, try to go greener. But maybe reduce the saturation or increase the brightness so it's less dramatic. Yeah, maybe take it to a little bit of a paler tone. Okay, keep it to about there. There we go. Okay. That's very close to the legs, I think, but hopefully it'll be fine. According to my last sacrifice, it was help me, or no, 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 please, no. I don't know which they meant, which they meant. They kept screaming both. Well, you know, like 80% of my cultists say that I'm a he, but you know, there was like an ancient cult before them that was very much into the she part. It's like, when you're trying to describe something that is implicitly beyond human experience, why are you giving it human pronouns? I mean, really now. Let's be real. Let's have a sensible conversation about how this eldritch monstrosity would identify itself. Okay, we definitely are going to want to reduce the saturation of this jacket, because it is monstrously saturated. Now let's try and go darker as well. Like, that jacket should maybe be the darkest part of them, honestly. Because that'll make the colors in the middle pop a bit better. I'm gesturing at my chest, but I promise you I'm not doing anything against Twitch service there. Okay, let's have a look at that. Oh, and before I forget, let's alter this. It's more of a yellow than a gold, but we'll take it for the moment. No, try to get... There we go. Going by popular vote, I appear to be a he. Yeah. Like something that does, so like humans have a concept of gender, so you should, so when somebody tells you their gender, you should absolutely listen to them. Gods and eldritch things have zero concept whatsoever of gender, so they're probably more likely to take it by like what you tell them. Oh, that's looking so much better already. Wow. What do we think, Chad? Are they looking better now? little bit more like an NPC. Okay, and here is their friend over here. Let me just actually teleport them over to here so we have a comparison. Because they're probably going to be around here quite a bit, so probably worth... I should have done this before I did that. Okay, fine. C2 da-da-da-da, there we go. Facing the right direction now. Little red buttons? Oh, maybe. Say gold buttons? Don't think we're gonna need them to pop? Yeah. I think it's the buckler is just like way too big on their feet, so it just forms this one lump, which doesn't really look too great. Okay. Yeah, they're fitting in. They're fitting together a lot better now, I think. It's like the colors on the witch's outfit are fairly bright, but they're not as saturated, and that is a very distinct thing. And of course, they both have the wings. It's just these ones are not the same kind of style. It's like if you were looking at them and you didn't see them actually like do the whole do the fluttery bits, then you wouldn't notice they were there at all, which is good. Put their masquerade mask on their shoes by accident. Does this witch have a different... I don't think this version of the witch's outfits has a an animation there. But these guys should, because they'll have their face covered up by a lot. Okay. Do we want them to have blonde hair? Should that part match with the witch? What do we think? Dusty says yes to blonde hair. All the hair colors? Yeah, I mean, we should definitely have, like, more than one. Although I think a quick Googling has shown me a possible explanation for why they're frequently depicted as being blonde and blue, and it's not a good one. It's beauty standards, in short. Apparently people also ask, is an elf real? The teal makes him regal? Which teal? Like on there, yeah, I guess, but definitely needs like different hair color, a different hairstyle, I think. I think we need to change this up because it looks sort of like Long John's right now, which is not the design intent. Hey, Rini. Okay. Let's see if we can't fix up the legs. I think we'll put some patterning on this, but yeah, I think this part's looking pretty good. I like the coloring now of the jacket a fair bit, but we definitely need to fix this up. Also leans towards the light and dark elves of Norse lore, the Seelie and the Unseelie courts. Yeah, I guess, yeah. We give them darker colored hair. Darker colored hair also contrasts more with the witch, so it creates more of that distinction. Okay, how are we going? Now the trouble with the legs. Let me see if I can find a high enough res image to show this, like, show this off. Yeah, there we go. Okay, trouble with the legs is it's meant to be basically this. But it doesn't come across as such because it's more or less the same color as the the waistcoat. So, yeah, need to change that up. It's also much lower on the shoes. I should probably think of that. If I bring the shoes lower, I can maybe have the buckle higher, but then the buckle still more or less needs to be either off-center or a complete bridge, which is not as good. Do I have a footwear layer? Do I? I don't know. No, I think I do, but I'm using it for mostly that. I think. Let's have a look. No, I'm using it for the tailcoat. Okay. That's what that is. Okay, that's the arms, so I don't have a footwear layer. Drat! Figure out what the color would be if you slightly turn the opacity down over the skin tone? You've lost me, Rainy. But anyways, let's bring this down to maybe there. Oh, for the leggings. Let's find out, shall we? Maybe something like that. I like her. Thank you for that gift sub. Temporary, very temporary beauty mark there. I mean, I'm calling them leggings. They're really more like stockings. Let's give that a look and see how that seems. Let's also... Now let's test that. See how much different that appears. This is where I find out I put that line on the complete wrong side. Maybe a dash higher as well. Oh, and you changed outfit while I refreshed. Dang it. Oh well. It'll change back eventually, I'm sure. And is it on the wrong side? Is it on the wrong side? Nope, it's on the right side. Hooray! Literally, and also the left, but still. Looks dapper? Yeah, I mean, we're trying to go for a dapper person. These are basically court fae, so that's the style we're going for. Changing got different bands the witch felt I should dress up to. I mean, I guess. Yeah. This is like mortal high court kind of outfit for the witch. Okay, I want to add some detail to this jacket because it's bugging me at this stage. No shoes witch? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely no shoes witch. Something about this feels off. Oh, I know what it is. My brain is thinking that there should all of these sections should be 3 blocks, like 3 pixels wide, but actually it's 3 by 4, so it's even weirder. That should look significantly improved. There we go. That's a much snappier outfit already. Those lines are on the wrong side, however. Now that's the splinters in their feet version of the witch. But also that symbol on their back is the it's the symbol of the magical spell property of trickery. There we go, that's better. There we go. Okay, yeah, the improved jacket is so much better. Lordy. I think it might need to end higher up though. Like, rather than right here, it should be like more around there. Let's go back to my quick image here. What do I have? Yeah, like you can see there, it is like definitely like waist high at best. These are the principal characters of Doctor Strange and Miss Marvel, by the way, which is what I'm mostly taking my cues from for how these fays should dress. I will say, like, it's really exquisite. It's really, really well done. Kieran makes it look like the command block is wearing a hat. Really weird, really heckin' weird hat, yeah. Hats on command blocks win. Yeah, let's lift this up, like, a little bit, and maybe bring it in a step as well, so that there's not just these yellow and dark colored dots on the side. How much you have to donate to get a Kelpie in the mods? One moment. It's not in the SRD, so it's not likely to happen anytime soon, I'm afraid. Okay, so bring that up to about there. That should be good. Yeah, that's why I wanted the line going on the appropriate side. One of these texture reloads, the witch is going to be the changeling queen, and you will jump. I mean, we'll find out. Yeah, this is also a question of, like, how would the Kelpie even work? Their main thing is, like, they're a punishment for thieves that steal horses. How many people in Minecraft just, like, go up to a random horse and ride it? Honestly, that doesn't happen very often. It's like, what happens then? Okay, let's export this and see how that change affects the look. That's how you get a horse in general. I mean, you're not wrong, but how many times do you do it, like, in general? Like, after the first? Okay, that's looking better. That's looking a lot better. You're already much improved in your fashion, sir, and yet it's only been like less than an hour so far. You don't breed your horses? I mean, I have the mount spell. You know how long the mount spell lasts by default? 40 hours. And I can specifically tell it where to go. Breed your mount spells? You can't, actually, because the mount, like, the summoned mount doesn't actually have the capacity to breed. Or carry any items, you can't get them a chest or anything. Or even a horse armor, for that matter. They have no armor inventory at all. But, like, that's a pretty reasonable thing, I feel, on the sheer basis that they have maxed out stats. So, it's like, what level is mount again? It's like that's like a level, that's level 1 conjuration. That's like a level 1 spell, and you have access to immediate, like, any number of breeds, high, like, max stats horses. No. Had a moose for a mount once, it was great. In one Pathfinder game you had a mount, he made it a zebra. Yeah. Oof. The mount spell here is just random, but that's an entertaining little detail, I have to say. Yeah, you're cleaning up quite nicely, I think. Okay, so the stockings are looking better. I don't like that they create just like a single block. I feel like that there should be some kind of delineator. Can the mount be a mule? There is currently, I don't think that's included in the random options. Is it only horse? Currently, it's only horse. Anyways, let's see if I can't add some detailing to the stockings and such. Are they called stockings? Someone who is more aware of historical fashion than I am, please let me know if they're actually stockings or something else, because I genuinely have no idea. Hosiery? Yeah. Are their eyes meant to be sold white, or have you just not gone to that yet? Yes and no. Their eyes aren't even actually meant to be visible, because they're going to be having their, like, Masquerade Ball mask on it. With the horn, which then relates back to what the changelings actually look like. So, like, the eyes aren't even meant to be visible. You will maybe see a hint of their eyebrows. They're extremely plucked eyebrows. But yeah, like, more or less the only thing you'll be able to see is, like, the bottom half, which is why it's animated. So, that's just what's going on there. That's what's going on. Okay, just had to quickly check what that message was in Discord. It's Buzz sending me a cute comic about foxes screaming a lot. Okay, if I just add that little detail there, that will hopefully distinguish the legs a bit more. I mean, actual detail here would involve quite a bit of noise, but for now. Okay, let's fix that. We can just reference the elf texture from the witch for this. Okay, so there's the gold that I used for the witch. that. Move it over a step. And that. Okay. It'll be off-center, but hopefully that won't look too bad. Hosen. Hose are any of various styles of men's clothing for the legs and lower body worn from the Middle Ages for the 17th century when the style fell out of use in favour of breeches and stockings. Oh, so they're hosen. They're hosen and then men started wearing breeches and stockings. Interesting, so stockings is actually an anachronism in this context for us. There we go, that distinguishes the legs a bit better. Like it needs to be darker, it needs to be higher contrast, but that might just be the direction that they're facing currently. What do you think of those buckles, though? I feel like if anything, this needs to be brighter to even further distinguish it. They're very green right now, and though it's a much less saturated green, they're still kind of giving off the leprechaun kind of vibe. Which, a leprechaun could be classed as a kind of fae, it has to be said, but nonetheless. Kindly do not. Okay, let's just see how that looks. Real quick. I was going to suggest silver instead of gold to draw away from the leprechaun look. You're not sure if there aren't certain types of fae hurt by silver. It's a very classical weakness of theirs, a very classical vulnerability, and it is definitely one that is included in this mod. We don't actually have silver in this mod, at least not just yet, but we currently class iron as to be likened to silver. Or wrought iron, I think is the exact kind of term. Anyway, that does look better. Needs detailing, but it does look a lot better. Yeah, it's silver for werewolves, all manner of lycanthropes, as well as quite frequently like evil entities, fiends of all kinds, which is itself a Christianity reference to the 40 coin that Judas was given, essentially. But wrought iron as a metaphor for like industry and like civilization and such tends to be considered to be a vulnerability of the Fae, who are very much about nature and like all sorts of things. Wrought iron requires a lot of process and like procedure and such, so consequently it doesn't do well with the Fae, who are very chaotic and natural. Okay, I think we do something similar to the hose, then it should make a nice kind of lining up there. Yeah, I think you're looking pretty good. I think you're looking pretty good. Just shush you for the time being. make it a little darker directly underneath the hose. So it'll give the impression of shading. Very curious to see, like, there's all sorts of, like, I don't know what it is, but for some reason the vast majority of mods, like, reviews that come out for various oddities tend to be in, like, Spanish. I don't know why that is exactly. Apparently various oddities just really appeals to, the Spanish-speaking, Minecraft community. But it's going to be interesting to see how they interpret this kind of outfits and figure out, like, what are they looking at, that sort of thing. It's frequently Spanish or Russian. I don't know why. Okay. I think you're looking pretty good, sir. Right. It's about time for my break, so I will be back in about 10 minutes. Catch you then. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you've had a nice little break there. So, we are currently doing texture work on our sort of Fey/Sylvan changeling, and currently, it's looking pretty good. I think we're making very good progress here, because, yeah, looking substantially better than they started this stream. Oh boy. Like, the ruffles look good, I think. We've got the, like, waistcoat that looks much better. Got the jacket in general. The coat in general looks a lot better. We've got the stockings, which we've learned are actually hosen, according to this particular time period at least. This looks good. I think the buckles look better when they're separated, even if that does mean that they're off center and kind of looks like a frog. Like, if you see what I mean. Teensy bit. Just a teensy bit. But we are now going to be working on the hair, which is certainly some kind of look, but it is not the look that we're looking for. Music is a touch too loud? It's literally on 2%. I don't know that I can make it go lower. Here we go. Very barely. 1%. But okay, right. Let's start by actually bringing it into the space what is in front. Let's get some darker tones as well. Just sort of add some shaping to it. Okay, let's start by actually giving him a fringe. There we go. Already it is vastly improved. Yeah, there's a helicopter outside. It's probably not for me. It's quite likely not for me. Okay, I can just actually have that point in the middle there. That looks... Either bring this lower down, or just spread it across that top piece, I think. For now, I think I'll keep it there. Okay. So, where are your ears? I'd like maybe something in front of the ears. So this is... If I move this block a point forward, we should get that in front of the ears. Which block is that? That is the one right after this. Okay, so it's this section. Gotcha. You take that, move it like so, and then we should end up with it being neatly in front of the ears. I'm just kind of imagining a Fae with, like, sideburns. Like, big bushy sideburns. I mean, there's an archfey over there with sideburns, so I guess a changeling with sideburns isn't impossible. It's just hilarious to think about. There we go. Looking a bit better. It's still clipping into the ears by virtue of that section, though, so let's see if we can't fix that. Big sideburns with big eyebrows, yeah. They look like a clerk, and that's kind of okay, honestly. Just adding a little bit of color detail there. Give them a pompadour. I would need to do so much modeling to give them a pompadour. Like, if we go to a reference imaging of, like, the gentleman, 1 second here. with the thistledown hair. Like, he has this big hair, like, style up top. Like, just, yeah, he totally has, like, that big bushy up top piece. But, oh boy, would that be an age to model. Anyways, there, looking. That hair is, like, now that the hair isn't so rubbish, it's definitely tying it together better. What do we think, everybody? Do we think we've escaped the curse of the leprechaun? Fey Elvis. Felvis. I mean, there's still such a touch, at least, of, leprechaun, but I think that's mostly the green in the buckles. I think if you take a predominantly green outfit and then you add golden buckles, then somehow it immediately becomes leprechaun. Because humans are very uncreative like that. I think maybe bring this part up a bit. Just so that it's not quite revealing the waistcoat so much there. Obviously we need to add detail to a lot of parts of this still. Actually, let me just pull up an image of a leprechaun. Because I'm kind of curious now, just like... Ah, yeah, that'd be why. It's because leprechauns have just been given the most, like, quite frequently, the most generic outfit from very much similar to this period of time. That's why. Yeah, right down to the waistcoat. Wow. No wonder. Also, never do this. Ever. It's not funny. Why do they wear waistcoats so much? That's my question. They're meant to be uncouth tricksters and such. Okay. I think we can add some detail to the face. We definitely need to do a bit of detailing at the back here. Yes, there's a reason I didn't click on that one. Okay. Can I just actually make you silent, please? Just whilst I'm texturing here. Thank you very much. That's the sound of a sheep. I can't make that one quieter. Would that have been how bankers at the time dressed? Put it this way. The way that people saw and continue to see Irish people, I don't think they would have associated the Irish with a banker. Not at the time. Like, hey, maybe, but I doubt it. I want to give, like, do something to that effect, but I don't think that'll work there. That said, I know where it would work. Let's see. Where are you? Hey. The fair reminds you of a YouTuber's Minecraft character used to RP? Oh. Mentioned because of... Would it happen to be synonymous with a forest of unusually small scale? Perchance. That group, not that person. Okay. Okay, that should not be visible. Or at least should be predominantly not noticeable. Let's find out. Does saying they're Scottish help clarify? Is it the one that likes buckets and pools? That one? Oh yeah, suddenly a fox. Yeah, you can just see it poking out at the back there. Yeah, if we do mode free, very gently dip into here, you can in fact see that their disguise does not travel very very deep into there. Like, that's completely, nearly entirely pointless little bit of texture work there, but gives you a hint. There are sleeves on this outfit. Okay. Let's add detailing to here. I think I'll try and go for some golden tones here. A little bit like that, maybe? Let's see how that comes across. Yes, did I mention we were going to move this up? I didn't, didn't I? Just a smidge. What will the witch be this time around? Make your bets. I think that might be a little too golden. Let's see. Well, it happened. It finally happened. Well, Rainy, you're not wrong. Well, that is visible, but kind of not really much at all. I think we need to be higher contrast with this main body color and then the actual, like, edging. I do like the positioning of the jacket there. That's good. The coat looks good. And maybe actually make this gold into more of a green. Okay, let's have a look at that now. What do we think the witch will be? Take your bets. Ah, perfect. And speaking of, yeah, that is looking quite nice indeed. Much better with the deeper contrast. That's good. Okay, so what other details do I need to add? I think the coat needs some embroidery. Like, it looks nice, but I feel like it needs some further embellishment. It looks a bit too block color right now. Like, the hair's got detail. The hose have detail. Yeah, I think the coat needs more detail. But yeah, but do these two characters look in any fashion related? We have green-toned clothes. We have bright white smiles. We have pointed ears. We have golden accoutrement. I think if you saw these two, you would presume that they were probably connected in some fashion. In fact, in many other mods, you would almost assume that they were part of the same faction. And here are the masculine and feminine versions. Which is not entirely wrong. Let's see, now we could have the symbol for trickery on their back, but it feels a bit on the nose. The problem I had when I was making the witch's outfit is that I wanted to have, like, leaf texture and such. But it turned out leaf texture, especially given the similarities to creeper texture, is not very distinct. We kind of ended up using it very minimally on the, like, shoulders and the, like, just around the corset kind of area. But it looks more... because there's so little kind of, like, reference to it, there's not really a lot of shape to leaves in Minecraft, so it just ends up looking more creeper than anything else. So I don't know how much we're gonna include and incorporate that here. But we do have this vine. We can probably make something of that. These are the vines that go around the changeling's feet. Grass texture? Grass texture is literally just noise. There's literally nothing there. There's no data whatsoever. Tall grass has more of a texture, and that's more what we actually have with the with this section. Yeah, the tall grass has more texture, and that's more what the vines around the changeling's feet are meant to emulate. Let's just have a quick look at that, see how that looks. We can undo it really easily if we need to. We're looking at the sleeves. Well, there's definitely more texture to them. I almost feel like there might be too much texture to them now, actually. Let's try... Let's see, where are you? Colorize. There you are. That's not the one. Posterize. That's the one I'm thinking of. No, but I don't think that worked at all. I think keep it as is. Honestly, I don't think it's too bad. I think it's mostly just that it contrasts so heavily with everything else we've got currently. Hello again, police. Hello again, Mr. Police. Beginning to wonder if I gave you all the clues. Let's see, there's beetroots, carrots. I don't recall if it's still called grass or tall grass or... Tall grass, evidently. Yep, there you are. Now here's the problem when you're trying to use tall grass. There is no color to tall grass. Clipboard does brush, set brush to I have no idea what you're saying. That means genuinely nothing to me. I think I like the look of that anyways. It's like, let it be remembered, I am a vector artist, I'm not a pixel artist, as much as I have to do pixel art for this. Oh, there's a 4. What do I do? Of course, we have a block that is specifically that color. Because it's meant to blend in with a very specific block. Let's see. Moss tendrils might work actually for this. Yeah, it's meant to blend in with hive creep. Which is that, but because it's based on grass, it doesn't actually have a texturing to it. Now, if we take that texture and try to make it by this, then we should hopefully end up with something interesting. It'll take forever. It's also really incredibly lazy, but I am doing this live on camera, so forgive me. I did that the wrong way around, didn't I? I should have taken that the other way. Alpha to selection, L. Replace the selection with the layer's alpha channel. Nope. I just went there, Rini. I just went there. Yeah. Right there. Right there. Alpha to selection. Already done. Trying to think how to explain. Don't worry about it. Trying to explain anything with, like, stream delay is not good. Imagine I get all the way through this, and I end up deciding, nah, you know, the code looks fine. There we go. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Just, yeah, as I say, this is not the easiest things to do. Blend those in. You got distracted getting yourself a snack on break that you spent 40 minutes watching dog feed on the fridge? I have additional questions. Many additional questions. Invert selection. I don't see how to do that at all. Oh, there we go. Inverts. Okay, I think I see the issue. Namely that only works if they're the same, if the layers are the same size. In the top edit menu? Oh, I don't remember that. Okay, just get rid of that layer now because we don't need that guide anymore. Paste as... Nope. Paste as brushes in there, though. Remember that one. Does not look like the same thing. That looks better. Okay. I missed a line. That's looking a lot better, I think. Let's see, merge visible. I think it is. Yep, that should be good. Yep. Okay, let's export that and see if I'm going in the complete wrong direction. What do we think the witch will be this time? Their fancy self is the answer. That's looking like a good bit of texturing now, actually. Okay, so now I just need to do it to those lighter chunks there. What if the witch turned into something you didn't even code them to do? I would be very concerned because that would require a procedural, like a client-side procedural costume, like creation system. There'd be a lot of code involved in doing that in any precedence. or delete. Yeah, okay, that's actually gonna help me a lot in the future. Thank you very much for that, somewhat hectic but nonetheless appreciated guide, Rainy. Not to implement in the mod, just as a weird, creepy thing happened one time we can't explain. I mean, a lot of things happen on the stream that we can't necessarily explain. Just sort of a fact of various oddities, really. Okay. Let's see how this looks. Still thinking about my part in the Lucian Slayers video? Okay. There we go. That looks pretty nice. It's got a vaguely grass kind of like aesthetic to it as well. Good, good, good. I want to do more detail to the face. I think leave the face as is. Bearing in mind most of it's going to be covered up anyways. So yeah, I think a variety of versions of this in like different sort of like leafy, like seasonal tones. And then maybe some different colored hair as well. It should be good. Okay. Back in 10. Welcome back, everybody, to the final hour of our stream tonight, and I think we're done with this section. I think we're actually done. I think we actually have a good-looking texture for our changeling. It looks really nice in-game, I think. Yep, looking good, looking good. And the last thing that is missing, of course, is their mask. The reason that they have those like 2-block wide eyes is because changelings don't really have eyes, so they're just sort of only there as much as they need to be for the look, as it were. Any dresses for them? I do know what you mean. Right now this is all that we have. I will be adding different ones, but this is what we've got for right now. Did you have to do it right then? Okay, fine. Fine. But yes, the next thing that we need is the actual model and the actual item for their Masquerade Mask. Because that's the thing that hides the fact that they don't really have eyes, as it were. So, gonna bring that up. Gonna have a look through for some masks. Let's see. Unicorn mask seems like I was about to say unicorn mask is probably a good start for finding what we're after, or something in the vein of what we're looking after. I was wrong. I was very wrong. Okay, Masquerade. Thank you. That's much more like what I'm after. Mostly. There's still the odd outlier. Just, yep, of course. Couldn't escape that one. Only one of those is actually like a unicorn, though. Like, one of those is a Nerf pony, the other one's a Pegasus. I hate that I know that terminology, but still. Yeah, Masquerade masks, though, are what we're after. Ooh, that's nice, but probably not. Where's that perfect one? Yeah, this one. That looks good. Okay. So basically, their Masquerade mask is similar to what they look like when they're... I don't know that I have a screenshot for this. 1 second, if I can find it. Heck. I might not actually have a screenshot of this from the recent point of history. Let's see, there's development of the spells. That's probably pretty close. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So I'm early in development of the witch's queen disguise. So yeah, you can see that they have this kind of like plating, and then they have that horn. That's basically what the that's what the Masquerade mask is in terms of their fey disguise. So hence we're looking at references for unicorns. So to that end, I don't know that we need to even include an actual like spot of eyes in this. There is a thought. But okay, so let's say we want it. Your standard face is 8 blocks in height, and we want this to be covering mostly the eyes. The eyes, as we can see from this, this is a fairly typical Minecraft proportions, are generally the upper half-ish. So let's say about 4 there. That should cover it quite nicely, I think. Like, say, about that kind of span. So let's see, that is 4 by 8. Yeah, okay. Well, 4 vertical, 8 wide. So we cover about that area. And we need to bear in mind that we don't want to have, like, meaningful measures of texture glitching on the edges here. Do we want the hair to come out in front? Like, we've got this, like, fringe here. Do we want the mask to rest entirely within, like, the headwear layer? That might not work as well for, like, players. For some skins of players, but that might look okay for the changelings. Okay, so there's our start. And then let's add a measure in the middle, I think. No, that doesn't look quite as good as I imagined it might. Let me just bring up my reference here. It's like those Minecraft characters don't have a nose, so I thought, like, maybe, but no, that looks not good. Modeling and technique, by the by, if you hadn't guessed, is a lot of trial and error. How big is that horn? It's like 3. Okay. Oh, and that's gonna be a different shape. Oh well. Let's see, if we make that negative 30, nice round number there, then this should be positive 30? Nope, no it should not. It might work that way. Yeah, there we go. Send an explanation about what you meant in regards to the clipboard brush thing in the modding channel on Discord. Oh, thank you. Let's look at that later. But yeah, do we want... I'm modeling eye holes is gonna be a mess. But I do think this needs more detail to it. Do we even want a strap? That's the next question. We want it to be that tall, but that just looks like a weird button nose. Does not look good. Almost no matter what I do, it just looks like a weird button nose. Let's see, that's too wide. Okay. Like, I can give it a bit of bridging there, but it... no, I don't like it. Do we want to keep it just real simple, then? Keep it to that. I do want to tidy up that, though. No, that actually looks way too strong. Okay. Tilt this forwards then. I'm basically just trying to plonk an end rod onto these things. Humans get creeped out if there's no eyes or eye shapes on the faces. The scariest masks are completely blank and featureless, even more unfeatured than display dummies. I mean, that's fine. That's kind of why masquerade masks are, like, creepy. I have the texture for changelings open here, don't I? Yes. It is 4 points tall. Okay. Also, I keep forgetting they have like the mohawk in their true form, as they were. There's a command you can do to put an end rod in your hat slot. Does it actually look like a unicorn horn? Oh, really? Does it not just, like, go straight up out the top of your head like a Teletubby? I know there are, like, minigame maps and servers and stuff that let you do stuff like that. I've never touched it personally. Like, if I just made that deeper, then you'd barely see the mouth underneath it. That's the thing. I think that looks good. I think that will suffice. I don't think it looks nearly as elegant as this one by apparently Daisy Victoria, but also that is a really weak horn. That's gonna snap off at the slightest irritation. Mine's significantly more industrial, shall we say? Or yeah, that's actually more like mine right there. Wow. Okay. Let's figure out how this is textured. Okay, so we actually don't need to worry about the head part here. It's just there for reference. Okay, let's create the model in the code. Okay, so first things first, we want to... I'm trying to think here, what is the first things first? First things first, we want to add the main bulk across the face. That's the start, I think. And then we do the funkiness of adding the 45-degree angle horn and such to it, including the mount of it. I'm going to keep that open for the time being, actually. Okay, so... check model biped, where the head is generated. There you are. Purely because we don't want to create this actual box here. We just want the rotation point to be correct. There. And then it is negative 4.5 F and negative 7 F, negative 4.5 F for a 942. There. And then we need separate, well, a separate model renderer for the horn. horn dot rotate angle X. Surprised I don't have a 45 degree in here, but I will. Okay. So rotate that by 45 degrees. It has the same rotation points because it's at the same position, so it should be fine. Set texture offset 4.6, add -1f, -8.5f, and +1f for a 222. And then the horn itself is 0 and 6, add box, -0.5f, -12.5f, and +1.5f. There. We could add more detailing if we wanted to, if we added like a larger box around the edging, but we're not going to be using that today at least. Okay. Now we just have to tell it to only render the helmet, which I think it'll do okay with. I think it's been a little bit of it's been a hot minute since I actually added any kind of armor pieces, or who knows. But okay. So stop biped head, add child, horn. There. So there's our Masquerade Mask model. Don't have a texture for it, but that's fine for right now. Item hat mask. I have a bunch of hats, but apparently I've never made a root hat class. Probably should at some point, if I make so many of these. Let's make these a lever case. The crown that the witch wears is golden. Do we need these to have a different color? Or do we need these to have a color option at all? Probably not. We'll leave it for the time being. Oh, interesting. Okay, well, that's fine, because that should still work just the same. Okay, all good there, changed that. I think that's okay for now. Okay, right, good, yes. Add that to our items list. If I can remember where it went. Crap, there you are. Forgot you went to Greg's today. You just pulled a sausage roll out of your bag. Oh, adorable. Okay, that should be ready to go. It's gonna look like a mess to begin with, but it'll work. Question mark. It'll definitely not have a texture yet. I can tell you that much already, so it will be purple and black. It won't have any language to it, so it'll just be Varro Mask a Fae or whatnot, but Hat Mask Fae or something, but yeah. Yeah, I should definitely make a... I should definitely make a root class for my hats, because there's like 5 of them that I'm seeing there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6! 6 masks I've made, wow. Okay, yeah, there's the hair one. It's not terribly dissimilar, honestly. Sort that out. Okay. Well, I'm ready for something, that's for sure. So that is it worn by Alex. Do I need to remember to scale these guys down? There's a question. Fun, weird, very weird factoid is that players use the same exact model as zombies, skeletons, and basically all bipedal mobs. Except that players, for whatever reason, are scaled down a couple of %. I don't know why this is. They're the only creatures that are like that. But it results in this weird height dichotomy here. Oh, you did the thing again, huh? Good for you. Okay. Let's add that to the renderer. Let's open up render page rich, because that'll have exactly the thing I'm looking for. Yeah, there we are. Layer armor default. Basically, this is just something that displays a given armor item when there's not something in that slot already. To that one. Here we are. Could always stand on a block. Yeah, that downscaling is then applied actually to the witch. So it's like, yeah, you're like 6.3-ish, 6.25, I think, % smaller than model biped should be. I don't know why that is. I really don't. But in their consequently, in their human disguise, the witch is 6.25% smaller than their elf disguise. They have the same disguise, and they have the same, like, height in their crone version, but they're hunched over, so. inputs. Ah. Okay, that should mean that now our very dapper looking changeling actually has the mask. Unless we set our reputation high enough. Why are we shorter than Witch? Oh, well, shorter than Witch in their non-human forms. In their crone and their, like, human disguise. Which still has the fox ears, because why not? They're the same height as Blair. Bearing in mind, that's just rendered. In their elven disguise, they're meant to be slightly taller. There we go. Okay, so there is some Z fighting with the hair. We want to fix that then. Fortunately, that's pretty easy to fix. We just go into the model and we tell it to downsize, to downscale that a little bit. I do like that it fits the horn fits neatly in that parting. That's nice. That's a good detail. Okay, so yeah, Jim, when you're making a headwear layer, you increase it by 0.5. Just by doing that, basically. And that takes an object, a cube that is the same size, and just increases it. But we want to decrease it slightly, so that we don't get that Z fighting. Because I like the notion of having the hair render up, or the headwear layer render on top of that. That's gonna look weird if people add, like, goggles and such using their headwear layer, but it'll be fine for this. This is a prop item, so it getting into the hands of players is pretty unusual, suffice to say. Okay, so next one we need, of course, is a texture vert. And some notion of what we want it to be, what elements we want to be colored. There we are. Perfect. It's neatly inside for now. So what do we think? We can change the, we now have a much better idea of what the model looks like on them. See? No, the edging of that is not sticking out, that's good. I'm not necessarily as happy that we can't see the eyebrows, but it's fine. If we set them to actually have like like anything else, we'll be able to see the eyebrows and the eyes, which is kind of the problem. But yeah, you look like a nice, proper little courtier, don't you? Ooh. If I look away long enough, your friend there might actually join the party. Add eyebrows on the hat layer. No. Because bear in mind, the eyes are about here. So they'll just be like eyebrows, like over here. I can't add them underneath the, that. I can't add them underneath the mask unless I add another box to them. Another cube. So, it's fine. Oh yeah, something I forgot. Because of the changes to marking, there is now a very extremely important command that we can give to our companions. Highly important. Oh, there you go. Perfect. Okay, so yeah, if we add the texture into that, you two should look gorgeous. Perfect. Let me see if I can throw something together for a texture for that real quick. Let's see, textures, items, armor, is it? Models, that's it. Armor. What am I going to say here? Doesn't matter too much. But we'll clone those for the time being. Okay, we can definitely close this. That's fine. Okay, that's the regular one, and wait, which one of it? Which one gets colored? I don't remember anymore. This one. Okay, the base one is the one that gets recolored. The overlay is the one that does not get recolored. Okay. Let's go for a kind of an ivory color. Ivory, porcelain, whichever really. Let's see, the main block, which is our first piece, is 1x4x2. I forgot this particular thing has a higher resolution. Okay, campus size. There we go. Back part need to, well, the bottom part certainly does. I was gonna say, does the back part need to be textured on the basis of what this thing is? Probably not. Odds you'll ever even see that. Actually, no, the bottom part doesn't even need to either. Or the top, for that matter. That's good start. And then looking over my screen. We'll probably make this look more like an actual unicorn-esque thing later. Just try to get this out. Okay, overwrite that. Rescale that as well. Okay. That was the texture it's asking for, yes? Yes. Hat, Fey, Mask. Don't know if you like the white or the pink purple as the mask color. Like, which one more? Okay. Refresh the resources, and let's see how it looks. I will add some detailing to it. But let's see how this looks. But yeah, I'm not sure what... If I make this dyeable, which I might do just because, what element exactly would change color is the question. Because that has to run in its own separate thing. Yeah, not bad, not bad. We can just kind of see the eyes underneath, so I will probably stretch that back out. Which elephants that they got the, like, ivory from? I mean, it could also be porcelain. Porcelain was also very popular as a masquerade mask kind of material. Okay, let me grab texture for changelings and do a little bit more detailing there. Did you miss hair? Yeah, like, what? I don't know which element will be changing color around here. Hello, Red Gulf. How you doing? I'm just in the midst of texturing a thing, so let me just bring us back here. Now that is what the armor plating on their heads looks like when they're not disguised. Where am I from? Good question. I am from Northeast England. My accent, who the hell knows anymore? Color, and then that's the mountain. That's the point that's like up along here, so that's probably the color we should use for this. Near Newcastle? I mean, anywhere is near in UK. Currently situated in Middlesbrough. Not from here. I have to stress that part because Middlesbrough is an unpleasant location. We don't need the bottom piece of this, but it's probably worth having it there just in case. Okay, this would be the creepiest appearance that we could possibly give this hat, but let's find out how that looks. So there's our Fey courtier. Let's see how they look when they're a little bit more changeling. Don't like Middlesbrough? Middlesbrough's not a great place to be. Though to be fair, I'm from the Northeast. Most of the Northeast is not a great place to be. Middlesbrough is a post-industrial wasteland, though. What am I forgetting here? Did I not click to export that? Because sworn I had. Interesting. Doesn't want to update. Oh, I think I know why. I'm being an idiot is why. Let's see. Models, armor. Fey mask. Mask Fey. Yeah, there we are. That's my problem. It's because we changed the name of it. And it's still outputting to the old file reference. Okay. Now it should work. Yeah, Middlesbrough, for those of you who don't know, it started when Darlington founded the railways and had to ship coal everywhere to power the state powers and everything, the steam engines. And then they found iron in the nearby hills, and that then made them a massive industrial place. Until about the 1980s or so. And then all of the steel moved out, and there was nothing left anymore because they didn't need to ship stuff. They weren't making anything industrial, and they weren't shipping coal anywhere anymore, so there wasn't any more reason for Middlesbrough to exist, essentially. It's tried to reinvent itself in more recent years as a university town. The University of Teesside is here, which is where I went. But it is desolate. There's not really any reason to be here. Okay, that is definitely not the same, not the colors we'll be sticking with here, but it doesn't look too bad. Okay, just gonna move that to a separate layer so that we keep the colors of that untouched. Okay, lock that, and my first thought is inverting it. This is going to look probably quite terrible, because inverting tends to. Yeah, actually not that bad. Guessing because it's a uni town, it's not even like a cheap place to live. Oh, it's extremely cheap. It's why I live here. It's like the only place I could afford to live. Inverted actually looks pretty decent. Huh. What do you know? Let's see, Fey Mask Overlay, not Mask Fey Overlay, that's the problem. Yes, replace it, thank you very much, save me some trouble. At least that's that upside. Yeah, the trouble is that when you have a town full of people that are economically, how do I put this, embattled, you end up with a lot of unpleasant people, suffice it to say. When that's been the case for, like, decades. So, Middlesbrough is... It is... I'll give it one thing. It's very strongly Labour, which, especially right now, is positive. But, it's not exactly full of pleasant individuals. There's a lot of sentiment that would lead you to think it was very favourable of the right wing, shall we say. Which makes it not great for me, because I am... me. Okay, yeah, there we go. That actually looks pretty nice. We can just about make out the eyebrows behind there too, if we squint. That is a nice looking mask, actually. I'm genuinely surprised. A little bit, because like, do I want to nudge the horn in just slightly? I feel like I do.
Remember all the happy times we had?
Like if I just bring it in like half a step, then that won't look quite so glaring and it'll be a little bit shorter. You bet? Okay, night Icor.
Very much alike.
There. Just change that to that. Job done. Yeah, that's a nice looking mask. And... okay, I may have slightly misjudged the altitude of the eyes.
Remember all the happy times we had?
That's interesting. I swear this was like hiding the eyes originally, wasn't it?
They're very much alike.
I wonder how that happened. Why can we see the eyes on Alex, who is looking quite perturbed at this sequence of events? Alex just has it scooted up. They want to be able to see a little. Now, Alex has realized that we're asking her to wear a unicorn mask and knows what the internet thinks. That's interesting. Why? Huh. Let me have a look at the texture here. Like that's where the eyes are on Alex. So I guess that's what's causing it. Interesting. Fuzz appears to be having a moment, judging by the sounds of things. Yeah, so that's our model. I would have thought that would cover the eyes. There might be a scaling issue. Yeah, that might just be from scaling. I'm not sure. Or maybe I just need to actually have, like, bottom parts. I don't know. That's strange. Oh! I know what it is. It's because we downscaled the mask part so that it wouldn't collide with the headwear layer. That's what happened. Okay, right. How do we fix that is the next question. We fix that by changing it to be 8 wide and then inverting the like size change. I think. Yeah, Alex disagrees with the fashion choice here. But at least now I know what the problem is. Okay. So unless your eyes are in like the top pixel or the lower like 3 pixels, you shouldn't be able to see the eyes there. But for these, looks pretty nice. Okay. Can we get a shot with the witch in their elf disguise before we close out for the evening? That is my next question. Hey! Beautiful. Okay, yeah, I think that works quite nicely. I think I might add like a data value of maybe like the porcelain part is the part that you can like change the color of, including to like a dark wood or something. Maybe that's what I change. Yeah. Looking good. Looking very fancy. Okay, right. Well, that's all that I have time for tonight, everybody. Hope you've enjoyed. And my next stream will be on Thursday night as we play some more Among Us at 9. And we might have a horror game for Friday night at 9 on Friday. I don't know yet. I'm still struggling to find like a decent game to play. I know there's plenty, just struggling to figure out which one for the most part. And we'll then have the carousel on Saturday at 9 with some random games with patrons. And we'll be back on Tuesday for some more work on steps that's still outstanding in this version before we start moving to a more recent version of Minecraft with various oddities, which will be really fun. And meanwhile, I do make videos over youtube.com/RimWorldComic. Check the channel tomorrow because there is a brand new series on RimWorld starting that should be fun. It's a very quick little starter video, but it should hopefully grab your attention. And everything I do is powered by people like you over at patreon.com/lying. Hope you've all enjoyed, and I'll catch you all as ever next time.